Greetings Traveler Challenger here. Welcome, and today I am playing Gothic 2 with Knight of the Raven expansion and using only bow as my damage source. This is my all-time favorite game. I played it so much in my youth that I am still amazed that after literally hundreds of hours and subsequent playthroughs, I was still able to find new things and places in the world. That said, I never actually attempted any challenge in this game, so I would say it's prime time to change it, so let the challenge begin. Rules. Try and complete the game using only bow as my main weapon and only damage source. I might use scrolls but not the damage dealing ones, and as less as possible. Complete the game by beating its last boss. If you never played Gothic 2, this is a sequel to Gothic, duh, an RPG game developed by now disbanded German studio Piranha Bytes. In the game, you are continuing your journey as the nameless hero, and it is taking place directly after the events of the first game. In a typical old-school RPG fashion, you are gaining experience, leveling, finding new equipment, complete quests, and so on and so forth. What really differentiates this game among the others still to this day is a very grounded world that is open but not overwhelming. Map is moderately large, but it is packed to the brim with discoveries. Also, to learn new skills you need to have learning points and then find the appropriate trainer that you can learn them from. Major thing about it is that at some point you need to join one of 3 available guilds and thus receive some privileges based on the faction. Milestones in this game are receiving better and better armors while progressing through the story or quest lines. I could probably go on and on about this game as I love it so much. I will try to explain parts of the story as we go along and will in fact explain a lot about mechanics in the game and its world. And honestly, if you like RPGs and you never played Gothic or Gothic 2, just stop watching it now and do yourself a favor and experience this gem. One small remark, I will be playing with Polish dubbing, but subtitles and everything written will be in English, simply because English dub is kind of crappy and I believe they would revoke my citizenship if I would not hear the magnificent voices of the Polish dub in these games. We are starting the journey with basically nothing, and Zardos is telling us what happened during the time the hero was in the coma after the events of the first game, basically explaining the main objective of this one. So I need to go to town, talk to a guy, level up a little, get more powerful and join one of the guilds in this chapter. Grab whatever I can from the tower and read every single book for additional experience. Jump down to get some scrolls, and now to get the very first bow, I need to go into this alcove behind the tree. So bows in this game function a little strange. First, they require dexterity to wield, and they also scale their damage with that attribute, alongside its base damage. So this short bow currently deals 25 damage, 15 base damage and 10 from dexterity that I currently have. Combat is very simple. You click the target, this will give you a target lock, then you control when to fire. There is of course a cooldown between shots based on the animation, but you are always dealing your damage minus enemy resistance, and your effective range is dependent on weapon skill, which can be improved later on. I don't know if I actually know somebody that played this game and used bow or crossbow as the main damage source, but rather something to poke the enemies from afar or to lure them to melee range, only to draw their swords and finish them off. And well, I was also in that camp for years. Only recently I discovered that they are in fact super powerful and very fun to play, if you know how. To be honest with you, I started this run a while ago and was at about half point of it, and then Reign of the Warlock update dropped for Diablo, so this was also dropped. So I did not come back to it and drive it to the end. Instead, I started over, as first I did not do a lot of things in the beginning of the game that could give me an additional edge, but also I did some of the things entirely wrong, and it bothered me so much that I had to give it another go. Also, I decided to pivot the point of this run a bit. I will still use bows to deal damage, but now scrolls are only being used when absolutely necessary. That means I will not resort to glitches or bugs to push through content, yet I still want to know how powerful this build can be when maxed out. So even though killing trolls, well, at least most of them, is not needed to finish the game, I still need to experience from them to be the best version of myself. So now I have done a couple of things up to this point. Got my bow, did every quest for Lobart and stole the farmer's clothes, which I gave to Greg, talked with Lester, but because I lack arrows I will need to go back there to clear the valley. So now I enter the town. If you won't talk to the guards and bypass them, which is very easy as you can see, you can talk to Lares and he will give you an additional experience. So now I can go back to the gate to enter the town as devs intended, to get additional XP, as there are plenty ways to go to town legitimately. Now there is a lot to do in town itself. Main objective now is to become an apprentice at one of the masters. Because I am playing as a bowman, I think Bosper the Fletcher would be the best. He also sells a lot of useful stuff for me. That said, I round around the town gaining approvals from different masters, getting blessed by both Adanos and Inos priests, catching the thief, but not reporting him to the militia, and getting back Yora his money. Also getting a prophecy from Abuin. This can be done every chapter. Last time I used the sleep scroll to bypass the guard, but there is a better way. Get onto this piece of the wall, jump onto the house and into the stockpile where leather armor is, which is the first good, non-guild armor that you can get. I ventured outside the town through the other gate to gather the plans for the alchemist Constantino. His approval is not needed to be an apprentice, but he gets the experience for the quest nonetheless, and I can also buy back the plants later on, which will be needed. As soon as I was done with that, I went with Bartok to the woods in order to get the approval of the last two masters, since I need to get wolf pelts for Bosper and or axe for Harad. Both of those can be obtained during this particular quest, although as with many things in this game, it can be done in very different ways. This is just the simplest and the safest route to do so. Just make sure that Bartok won't die. After he kills the orc for us, you can lure the goblins to him for additional experience, as you can see. With that done, I made sure that every master gives me the approval to sign with Bosper, and went to him to take the job, sell the pelts for additional gold, and also whatever I won't need anymore, and bought more arrows and Ring of Dexterity. It gives me plus to that skill and it is the best in slot. I will get another one later on. Before going out with Lares to get the piece of the ornament to the water mages, I had to make sure that I will get the quests related to Thieves Guild. One is already done, but for the other two I had to get out of town, and since both are roughly in the same place where we are going, it is a good opportunity to do everything at once. Another thing is finally getting a better bow, in this case hunting bow from Bosper. I could wait for a moment to get the better one, but yeah, whatever, and leveling dexterity to 39. Of course, remember about the breakpoints. Level it to 29 and then learn 5 points at once. Boom! Save some learning points. With that, I have a sizable dexterity pool. With the ring it will be 44 and I am only level 4 so far. Together with Lares we ventured to the other side of the map, killing some monsters for experience, gathering some loot along the way to finally reach the water mage's side, getting them the ornament piece and talking to everyone. So far this is to push expansion plot a little bit for later, getting the map for free and access to the teleport that will bring me back to town. But instead of going back, I backtracked to the steps where Achilles' farm is. Here we dealt with mercenaries, that is unfortunate, as I want to join them later, but there is no real alternative here, so I'm choosing violence. Now to complete the quests for the Thieves Guild. Akil will give me the package for Baltram that Nagur needs. So thank you very much. Then going to the cave nearby, killing some scavengers and wolves to reach the bandits in the cave. Two of them are killed after one-shotting them, and the leader is a bit tougher for now, but still not as bad at this stage. So now I have a message from Halvor that is the last needed piece. I took that message to set Halvor, got his fishes for the trouble, got package to Nagur so he can sell it, and now Attila knows about me and gives me the key to Thieves Guild hideout. So I went there, cleared some rats for additional XP, learned stealth. I need to pickpocket and lockpicking too, but I simply don't have enough learning points for now. So I went outside the town to clear some wildlife that I previously missed, both in the valley where Lester was and around town itself. Also, I talked to Cowlord to push him to town and get the information about the next ornament piece. After I leveled up, I got pickpocket skill, and with it I started to just pickpocket the hell out of everyone. Most importantly, I took the ledger from Lemar. First you need to give it to Torben, buy it back, give it to Karagon, buy it back, and finally give it to Hannah. For each you will get 200 XP, which is a massive amount at this stage. I continued my pickings and questing until I got another level, and because I have enough gold now, I can make crapload of donations to Daron. If you donate 50 gold each time, he will give you 2 maximum mana, 1 learning point, 50 XP and 85 life in total for 1000 gold. That elaborate set of steps was to get lockpicking for free at Torben's, as he is so grateful that he won't take any gold from me. With that I can rob Konstantinov his ring, and open the chest in the sewers to take Bosper's bow and Karagon's silver, and of course join the Thieves Guild. To rob them of their riches 5 seconds later, well, I think I deserve that. Before moving on from town, I wrapped out remaining quests, at least the ones that I could, robbed most of the guard towers and got the parcel from the warehouse. There is one slight problem with the bow. You see, there are quests in this game like this one where you need to duel someone, but arrows and bolts are deadly, so if you defeat the NPC he gets killed and not knocked out. So with that, I cannot do any type of such quest. Bummer. With everything more or less done, I can go out of town. So I talked with Lares to accompany me to the forest to get the piece of ornament for later. Once done, I can now move to the owner's farm. But on the way there, we can get into Orland's tavern to get another quest from Rukar and access the teleport stone behind the tavern. Greg is here too, so let's accompany him to the cave, do some war crimes on the whole population of goblins, get his stuff back and get another quest from him. This will be done a little bit later on. So far I did not mention guilds much. For bow build it does not really matter that much which guild you will join, since everyone has more or less the same bonuses available, and since dexterity is the only skill that matters for me, I really only need to worry about access to elixirs, teachers and equipment. Mercenaries that I want to join have just a slight edge, but just in the very end of the game with the special elixir that they can create. But like I said, it does not matter that much at this stage, so for now, let's just get as much power as possible and do the quest to join them. Unlike Town Guard and Fire Mages that you can join fairly easily, Mercenaries has the most quests associated with them before you join the faction. One of those quests is to beat up the number of members in a fair duel. Problem is, I cannot duel, because as I showed you before, bows kill people. In the Night of the Raven expansion, however, there was a built-in system that lets you choose one faction that you want to join to have an easier way in. You just ask Lares and he gives you a quest. I want to do this quest and every other possible, but I know for a fact that you can still fuck it up and don't have to do the duels to be able to join the guild. You just need to do every other quest possible. So I started running around, clearing out bandits to find Elvric and to pinpoint who is the weapons supplier for those ruffians. Getting stuff for Greg, I robbed, then killed 2 militia members that were harassing Bengar. You don't need to do this if you have an easier way to get to mercenaries, but hey, easy experience. I also got the last part of the ornament that I can get my hands on for now. With that done, I could turn my sights to Bandit's Fortress. First, to do a quest for Court for easier way to get to the mercenaries, and second to kill Dexter and his cronies. This will be done of course mostly through Greg, so I will lose a lot of experience, but well, I cannot use Rain of Fire to clear them. There is also a special bow here, Firebow on top of the second tower. It has limited special ammo, but it also does 50 damage and only is 25 dexterity. Cool weapon for non-bull builds. Time to talk to Torlov to report back on militia. Then Court to get him info about Patrick. Cypher is next for his approval. And it seems that after all that, it is not enough to join mercenaries. I swear that the last time I messed it up, this would be enough. But there is one more quest. The easiest way to get one more would be to wield the Rod Sword. Well, that came out wrong, but for that I will still need 30 strength. To not waste any learning points and get 20 more strength, I can get 5 from the belt I already have, 3 from the ring I found, 6 from Dragon Roots, and the rest would be from Enos' Shrine. When you are guildless, you can get 10 strength and 10 dexterity, so I will pray until I can get enough, and now I can wield the sword. And Torlov is telling me that now it is cool that I can join mercenaries. But before doing that, I want to get enough learning points to get 64 dexterity through teachers and use the rest of the prayer, then and only then I will join the faction. So let's get another 2 levels that I need. I started to clear some portions of the map from the monsters that I have less issues with. I also got the rest of the things for Greg to do his quest. In the meantime, I visited an alcove where my next bow is. Composite bow deals 65 damage and needs 60 strength to wield. Powerful stuff. Time to get back to town, so along the way I got as much XP as possible. Then confronted Fernando about him dealing with the bandits. Talked to Martin and then Vatras to tell him about it and missing people that we will free later on in this run. Wrapped up any quest that I could in town and was still missing some XP. So I got the bandits on the bridge. They are one of the tougher fights at this point, but bows are just incredibly powerful that even dealing with 2 at the same time is mostly favorable for me. Once done, I talked with Errol to finish his quest and went to Torlov, as I got enough learning points to get my dexterity to 65 through learning points. Then 70 with ring, and with that I could finish my prayers to get another 6 points. So in total now I have 76 at level 11, and I am not even in the guild yet. This number could be even bigger of course if I used elixirs of dexterity and stone tablets, but I am hoarding those for later. With my newfound power I went to get some of the harder enemies of the map. Monsters like lurkers, lizards or even snappers are not much of an issue now. Here is the problem with the missile weapons. Trolls, they cannot be harmed that way, so magic or exploits needs to be utilized to get rid of them, but there will be time for that. But I still got the Sun Aloe for Sagita, so in return she can teach me how to brew Elixir of Dexterity, and this is absolutely necessary if you want to min-max your dexterity, as it becomes far more cost efficient later on, when normal training gets expensive, and also there is a finite amount of goblin berries and king sorrels that are needed to brew those. I managed to hit one more level before finally moving on and joining the mercenaries. Now, because I have done mostly everything, I went back to town, got my 1 point of dexterity from Rengaru and finally talked to Hagen. Now, he won't give up Eye of Enos easily, so I need to go to the Valley of Mines to get him the proof of the dragon's existence. No problem. I also got the last part of the ornaments from him, so if I want to go to the expansion now or straight to the valley. Before going any further, there are still things to do here, because now chapter 2 begins. So vendors has new stuff, also new quests are available, but first, new belt from Bosper, plus 5 to dexterity. Then I can finally become a member of Ring of Water. New prophecy from Abuin, just free experience. Then going to Isgarod to deliver the message, and finally to join the ring. And I purposefully did not talk about the mercenary armor I got when I joined them, because by becoming a member of the ring, I am getting a far better outfit than the one that you can see on the screen. With that, I can talk to Vatras one last time, get King Sorel as my reward for delivering message to the Isgarod. I could get the Ring of Skill as it is giving me plus 3 dexterity, but in Valley of Mines there is a better one widely available, and now I have an assignment to get the Water Mages to go through the portal to Yarkandar, but I will go to the Valley of Mines first to go along the main plot. Talk to the knights and go along the path destroying everything, and you remember in the beginning when I told you that the bow has some cool interactions? This is what I meant. If you hold down the mouse click to the first goblin and just stand in place and fire, it will automatically pick the next one regardless of your position. So you don't need to turn around to target them and kill it. Valley of Mines, the stench of nostalgia is all over the place. Get the rune to come back to the pass easily and to the river we go. Through the forest, then running away from the orcs to get to the castle. I talked to few knights to get the staff, quests and so on. Milton is also here, thanks for the potion man. And in this building, if you go up the stairs to this chest, there is an ash bow, 80 damage, and best part is that it is free, as long as I am not getting caught. Now Garond, who is head honcho here, won't give me a proof for Hagen right away. He has 3 sites where he sent his men and want to get a report from each of the groups on how much ore did they mine. Only after that I will get my proof. No problem. Gorn is also here, so I bought him for a small price of 1000 gold pieces, and if you are a mercenary, Gorn will give you a medium mercenary armor, which is totally useless when you have a Ring of Water armor. Money well spent. I could go to the miners right away, but Gothic is an exploration-rich game, so every time you are in a new location there is something to be found. In this case you can go here, avoiding the enemies, to talk to Gestat, to learn about Minecrawler's plate armor. With this knowledge you can get some plates to Wolf in Honor's farm to get such piece of defense. So because I am already here, I can clear the first site from the Minecrawlers that everyone else fell victim to. But chests with the ore are somewhere else and we'll get to them later. Then I went near the Zardas' old tower, so here we can find a second ring of dexterity plus 5. So now I have 2 best in slot rings for this build and 87 of the skill in total. Second site is nearby. They have issues with snappers. If you talk to Bilgot after initial attack to Fayed, the pack leader will spawn. So run around the camp killing every snapper you see and the leader will be at the foot of the nearby watchtower. Get his clothes for another quest and report back. 1 down, 2 more to go. There is also a quest here to escort Bilgot to the pass, but he's not very strong, so carving the path through orcs is not something I want to do with him. So teleport to castle, then to the pass, and voila, he is here. Quest completed. Let's skip Diego for now and backtrack from the pass to the site where Marco's supposed to be. You actually don't need to go to the mining site itself, but there are some monsters here, so might as well clear them and do another quest for the miners that are hiding in the cave. Once done, go to the Cavalor's old hut and behind it is Marcos, with his 4 chests of ore and 0 additional soldiers. So I rob him to set myself for the further travels. One last report left. Teleport back to the castle and go down the same route as initially. Clear the lizards, wolves, bloodflies, like all kinds of nasty stuff to reunite with Diego. He's guarding 4 chests that Silvestro's regiment mined. So I have a final report. But Diego wants to get out of here and I can escort him, or rather he can escort me, back to the pass. But since he does not want to go near the castle, the route we need to take is rather a sightseeing one. I sight orc, he kills orc. I sight warg, he kills that too. But seriously, you need to run around the half of the map to get here, but the experience is practically free and eliminating this rubble is just a cherry on top. At this point I have done everything I wanted in the Valley of Pines, and I can progress to the next chapter. However, I am not going to do so. Not literally. I just don't want to trigger chapter 3 yet. Instead, I will just go back to Korinis to do 2 things. First, let's go talk to Wolf to get next armor and learn few things about shooting a bow. 39 is nice, and as you can see, Minecrawler armor is the best one for this stage of the game. You can get a pretty similar one in the expansion or in the next chapter. Second thing is getting first amulet. Because as a mercenary I can get amulet of dexterity in chapter 4 at the earliest, I have to get something before that. Backtrack to the place where you meet Cavalorn for the first time and jump out here. Clear couple of lizards, and here in the trees the amulet is on the ground. It only spawns in chapter 2 and it is different based on which guild you join. For mercenary it is 40 to life. I swung by the town to pick few pockets. I am even so good that I can rob Fernando through steel bars. And I got another level by robbing Lothar. Complete the quest for Lutero by giving him Snapper's Claws, then visiting Sagita, as I forgot to buy ingredient for later, and now to Water Mages. As long as you have every ornament piece and message from Vatras, you can proceed to repair the ring to open the portal and go through to the land of Yarkendar, lost part of the island of Korinis and basically where the whole expansion takes place. There is a lot of stuff to do here. New monsters, new quests, new equipment, but the main plot here is to stop Raven, who is desecrating Temple of Adanos, God of Balance, to retrieve some godly artifact, blah blah blah, all powerful being, blah blah, destroy the world, yeah. So in that case, gather every quest from Water Mages and go hunt some swamp rats with Jack Alligator. We go to the hole to get some meat, but at the bottom there is something I want, a longbow, 95 damage with 90 dexterity requirement, so I can use it in just a moment. Since there is not enough game in Hollow, we need to go to the canyon. Once done, I can activate another teleport stone, grab Francis's ledger from nearby cave and start doing quests to get into the pirates camp for free. Since I already talked with Malcolm on the way in, did hunt with Alligator Jack, I can now just clear the bandits from the tower, and after talking to Henry, telling him about all that and having a package for Skip from Act 1, I can get in for free. Now run around the camp pickpocketing everyone possible. Talk, gather quests and deliver them at the same time. Clear the northern beach from the monsters, and to my surprise, I can even take on the Shadow Beast now. Backtrack a bit to where Malcolm was, perform a sick stunt to find his body, and lastly gather the ring from the remains of Angus and Hank. After doing so, one more trip around the camp to deliver the news. I also got 5 dexterity to wield the new bow, and to Greg's hut we go. Rob the place dry, read the logbook, yes, very passionate read, and hey, Greg is here. He has more work for us. Well, If I want to get to Raven, I need to get the bandits camp. And to get in there, I need bandits armor, which pirates have, but first, some more work. I've gathered few boys to clean up the canyon from razors, beefed up version of the snappers. They are fast, deadly and attack without warning, but kind of fragile. But I can also lure few orcs so the boys can have some fun and finish this by killing few bloodhounds with them. Explore the cave with few mine crawlers, gather some loot, now journey to the stone arch where another bloodhound resides, and another free weapon upgrade, beach bow, 110 dexterity required. This one is a little out in terms of requirements, for now at least. Report back to Greg about the assignment, so Bones can now give me the bandits armor. With that, I have the access to bandits camp and practically the entire map of Yarkandar. So I backtracked a bit to kill another bit of monsters for some experience and back to water mages. As you may or may not know, through the expansion they introduced stone tablets that can give you a permanent stat boost, but to use them you need to know the builder's language, 3 tiers to be exact. Tier 2 is needed for story anyway, but since I have enough points to learn all of them, let's do it now and use health tablets to get almost 100 life just like that. Rest of the tablets will be used later on. My min-max nature is kicking in. Time to head to the swamp and do some initial digging on Raven. But first, a little cleanup of this filthy place. Activating another teleporter stone and use the only 2 ladders in the entire game. Dev scrapped them after how disastrous they worked in the first one. Next, there is the camp, but to get inside I need to convince Franco that I am the man to get inside. But well, not really. I can kill him right away, but I want some more experience, so let's help Logan with the swamp sharks. And while I am here, I can go up the mountain inside the cave to clear the mine crawlers too. After that, there is a second assignment. Get stone tablets from one of the temples. Engor was supposed to do that, but he is a chicken. So I learned from him the secret of the bloodfly stingers and when hunting. Inside the temple there are stone guardians. There are not really an issue with them at this stage. So I get what I need, let Franco know that he is stupid cause he won't let me in anyway, so he leaves me no choice. He has to die. Luckily for him, he has an upgrade to my amulet, 4 strength and 4 dexterity alongside 40 hit points. Next there is a ploy that someone wanted to get rid of the current boss Esteban. So you have 2 choices, either find the assassin and kill him or side with the assassin and kill Esteban. I will do the latter, also the side quests, talk to everyone around the camp and we are going to the swamp to find Juan. I could just buy the packages from him, but nah, rob him blind and kill him and his bodyguard to get things for the quest. Prepare loose hammer for Snaf, and green novice for Fortuno, then another potion for Fortuno and talk to him again. Now to uncover the plot, you need to kill Senyan, who has been blackmailing me, then talk around the camp until they reveal that Juno has something to do with the assassination. Give him the steel package that I took from Esteban, and now, after some more talking, we know that Fisk is one that is behind the whole ploy. I tell that to Esteban, then kill him and talk to Taurus to get to the last part of the camp. But before that, he sent me to fetch for 3 miners. So I get Leonard, Finn and Emilio inside the gold mine that they have here, and here we go. Last part before the temple. Give beer to Scatty to get some XP, and now to lure Bloodwind, as he is my next target here. But before I can talk to him, there is a matter of cleaning this place from mine crawlers. But that is no biggie. One shot every single one of those bastards. Rob the place blind and back to garage. Now Bloodwind himself, well, it didn't take long to take him down too. Take his head, onward to the temple, where you can get the best armor in the expansion. about the same as Minecrawler's one, but you can move around the bandits camp in this one too. Side chamber has some raven henchmen to deal with. They drew the short straw and seemingly now they are zombies, so put them out of their misery and confront Raven finally. Nah, not so quickly. He opens the door and we cannot follow him without the magic incantation of our own. So now there is a good time to time most of the side quests and exploration of this place, to an extent of course. I am not able to kill everything really right now. Time to wrap up the Yarkendar's part. Really, there are only couple more things to do here, so first of all I need to visit all the temples to find the incantation to summon Quahodron. Also, here is another special bow, this time magic one with 100 damage and 90 dexterity required. And again, a limited supply of arrows, so not really useful. So swamp golems are so far the bane of my existence. Really, anything that I cannot do more than 5 damage to, as it is the lowest amount that can be done. When my damage is lower than the armor of the target, you see here that I can lock him in place. There is not much danger, but it will be an issue later on. Zombies has overtaken this one. Not much of a problem, they are easily stunned and knocked back with the bow. Quick strat around and tablet is mine. On to the next objective. But orcs are in a way. Two are way too much right now, so high ground is required to deal with them. If there is only one, I can get lucky with the stuns and kill him while he is on the ground. Get Hermit some clothes for more XP, then proceed to rob his hut. Move to the next temple, killing everything in sight on the way. Clear the minecrawlers inside to grab second to the last tablet. Now the last temple is in the canyon. It is occupied by orcs and fire demons. Since I cannot use magic, I first want to level up a bit to get enough dexterity for better bow. So I run around doing quests, talking about the bandits, and just getting whatever unresolved business done that I can have. I finally got my level and wanted to level dexterity to 94. But first I am missing 2 learning points and Lucia here is only teaching dex until 90. So I cannot do much about it. I would have to go back to Korinis, get 1 more level and pass the 90 points breakpoint there, so I guess I will pass on that for now. Back to the canyon then. Still, with the leveling I have a little bit more power, so killing orcs is even easier, as long as I can keep this one-on-one or block them on some obstacles. I am good to go. Problem starts where there are 3 of them at the same time. Then, if I'm lucky, I can finish one off before he comes to me. Then, kite 2 more, until they drop aggro to start shooting at them again. Now for the worst part. The temple itself has a couple of stone guardians inside, but also 3 of those fire devils. Unfortunately, they are very resistant to arrows now. However, this one in the beginning cannot for some reason go through the door. So much like the swamp golem, he can be shot down with some persistence. Next, I go to the right where 2 stone guardians are. Those are not an issue, but the next fire devil is here. I found that the best strategy for him is to run back, hide behind these doors and just free aim to kill him. He cannot harm you in this place, so it is very easy. Now there is one last wing here. 2 guardians again, no problem. But the fire devil here needs to be dealt with. There is not a place in the temple itself to block it. He just runs after me. He can even run outside the temple, no problem, so I need to get creative. Once again, doors that are in the way can help, but this time I got thrown by his attacks through the closed door and just started blasting. You can close doors manually, so I think this is legit. But once he had about 100 health, he teleported somewhere, blocked himself on sarcophagus inside different chamber and left his mortal coil under the rain of arrows. Grab the tablet and whatever is here. To Quahodron's tomb now. I got the incantations from Mixer and to be able to read it, you need the tier 2 of the builder's language. So into the tomb, summon the general and answer his questions. You can guess them, or in the temple that is in the canyon you can read the answers. but more or less they are pretty self-explanatory, or you know, you can look for the answers online, not like this game has premiered yesterday. Get the scroll from him and finally I can go after Raven, for real this time. Report back to mages to finish all the quests, get the tablets from Saturas, then go to the Adanus temple. There are some trials and traps here, of which you can learn by reading all 5 tablets that you have been gathering until this point. But once again, you can just guess, so I am not going to show you the answers. But bear in mind that there are also some places here that you can loot, and stuff here is good. Since you cannot come back here later, it is advised to explore as much as possible. The entire plot here is that the Raven found about the Beliar's artifact, Claw of Beliar. Crazy powerful sword that is probably the best weapon in the game. But it cannot be made into a ranged weapon, so it's useless. Talk to Raven or not. Well, he is not much of a fight as you can see. It took what? 6 shots to bring him down? That was disappointing. Gather stuff from here, then free the slaves and kidnap people, report back to water mages to fulfill all the quests, also to send Mixir back to town. It is necessary to push the main plot forward, report back to Greg, and the expansion is done. I can return here later to finish some more monsters for maximum XP. So to trigger chapter 3 I need to report back to Garond about the all mining sites. Since I have done the scouting, I can just talk to him and reap the rewards. So with the report in my hand, let's go to the pass, but before crossing it, 1 or 2 more things to do. Instead going to the mine, let's clear a couple of orcs from the old path to get Diego's his money back. This will be later used for the quest. Since Diego is still here and he is the only one that can teach dexterity up to 200, I will learn some, and because I crossed 90 natural points, I learned acrobatics. It is a great way for traversal. Also, I can equip a new bow with all the bonuses. It is worth mentioning that dexterity as a statistic is the most interesting in the game. It improves damage of the bows and crossbows. It increases the chance of lockpick not getting broken during failure. It allows pickpocket more targets and of course acrobatics. Time to go to chapter 3. It starts immediately during the crossing to Korinis, and now the world is plagued by seekers, mages in black robes in service of Beliar. They are powerful and annoying as all hell. With the new bow I need 5 shots to kill one, so that is not great, not terrible. But in this act I can further increase my power, potentially even getting the best bow in the game. This is also a time where I can get teleportation runes to certain landmarks. It is a form of quick travel in this game and it is simple but elegant. Run around a bit to clear some stuff, as seekers are not the only thing that are spawning right now. I'm so powerful at this point that I can kill dragon snappers. So let's do quest for gun. Since Honor's farm is the closest from here, I will go talk to the mercenaries to get even more quests. Report back, so on and so forth. I also got the best bow in the game, Dragon Bow. It is actually available from the very start of the game, but well, not able to use it then, or it is very unlikely to do so. Main objective of this act is to get Eye of Enos. It is necessary to acquire it to be able to fight dragons in the next chapter. But of course, there are some roadblocks ahead. I should go straight to Zardos now to talk about what to do next, and since I got the rune, it would be very quickly to get there. But I rather just run around a bit doing side quests, clearing everything from side of the city. So once in the city there is a plethora of new quests to do. I buy few things from the vendors like arrows and this scroll of shrink monster. New elixirs are also available, as well as alchemical ingredients. Bosper also sells the best belt for this build, plus 10 to dexterity. I also got the Thieves Guild to rob them, to do some quests and open the chest here that has the hardest lock in the game. But inside is Elixir of Dexterity, so it is well worth it. There is also a matter of Bennett. He is a mercenary blacksmith that has been framed for killing a paladin. This one is necessary to do, since he is a crucial part of the main plot. Talk to Cornelius, also rob him of the book, and present the findings to Hagen. Bennett is exonerated. Also, Hagen gives his blessing for me to get the Eye of Innos amulet. I talked with Zardos to assess the situation and went back to Honor's farm to talk to Bennett, as he can now give me the first Dragon Hunter's armor, which is so much better than what I currently have. Move to Monastery where Milton is now, talk to Pyrokar about the eye, but well, the amulet has been stolen, so it is up to me to find the traitor and retrieve it. But before that, I will use sleep on this novice to get the Holy Hammer for the quest, as Lee wants to blackmail the judge. Now, Eye of Innos is getting desecrated in the Sun Circle, where Dragomir's crossbow was before. On the way there, I stopped at the Black Troll to use Shrink Monster and kill him. This will be the only troll in the game I will kill, since there are only 2 of those scrolls available in the entire game. Get to the circle, get rid of the Seeker's congregation to grab the now destroyed amulet. I can fix it in a moment. Talk to Bennett, he will repair the amulet for free as he is so grateful that I rescued him. Then talk with Vatras about the eye. We need 3 mages for each god. Adanos, it will be Vatras. For Beliar, it will be Zardas, and for Innos, it needs to be Pyrokar. But that last one is not getting his ass moved here, so he does not trust Zardas. So in order to sway his decision, I need to get something that was stolen from the monastery long ago. Talk to Zardos about it and to go to Sekop's farm. His place is getting absolutely trashed by the Seekers, as they are looking for the same thing. Dispatch those sorry-ass fools and get the House of Gilderoth book that I can now give to Pyrokar. With all mages assembled at the Sun Circle, they repair the amulet to give it back the power. With that, I can now move on to the next chapter, but before that, I decided to tie up some loose ends, clear a bit of the map and do some more side quests to be prepared for what's to come. Also, I leveled dexterity some more, so now I have 130 in total with bonuses. Let's trigger the next chapter, but instead of hunting dragons now, I will go back since a lot of the quest has become available in Korinis. Talk to Dar to get his quest. He wants some proof that he is brave, so I went hunting for the Orc Warlord and his ring. In the meantime, I also destroyed some lizard men to get the first dragon egg. Finish the quest. Dar can now give me the Amulet of Agility, plus 10 to Dexterity, best amulet for me. Actually, Town Guard / Paladin can get this in Act 2. With that, I came back to the Volley to talk to Dragon Hunters, rob them to get the XP and gold. I also did some map clearing since my damage is already amazing. I can somewhat take on even Dragon Snappers with a good high ground. Next on the list was a visit to Castle to get the quests here, as Dragon Hunters are now residing. So they have their own troubles, and Paladins have some issues with those too. I also bought an oak bow for my next upgrade. So I started doing the quests. First, find Sengrat among dead orcs to get his crossbow. Hoshpak is not far from here, so climb the hill, kill the orcs, among which Hoshpak is, also get Feros's sword. Lastly is Angar's amulet. He now moved nearby the crypt where he lost it. Move with him inside, dispatch some skeletons and grab the amulet. Now talk to everyone to turn the quests for XP. Since I wanted to get the best bow before the dragons, I went back to Korinis, leveled dexterity to 119 and started doing more quests here. There are a couple of those, like clearing orcs on Lobard's farm. But for mercenary, it is mainly getting all the lizard men from different caves to get the exactly 13 dragon eggs, of which one I already had from the previous venture. After that, I got all the goblin berries that I could find from Korinis, which is exactly 15. 2 more are available in Valley of Mines, but more on that later. And because I leveled some more, I can push my dexterity to final breakpoint, which is 120. But wait, either breakpoint is at 125 or something is bugged, because I have 124 and cost did not change. Mind you that I do not have any rings, amulets or belt equipped. I have no idea what happened, so I guess more grinding for now. Because with the bonuses I have over 150 dexterity, I got war bow from Bosper, which is second best bow I can get, and did a cleanup of the map. I went to the cave near the pyramid to get loot, and it turns out that golems, in this case stone golems variant, are killable with bow, which is bizarre. Finally got to level 37, get my dexterity to 130 with the available points, and decided to use every elixir of dexterity and tablet that I have on me to push this value to 162 without any bonuses. So now with rings, amulet and belt I have 192 and can wield dragon bow, hardest hitting bow in the game. With all that preparation and insane stat boost and the best weapon I can have, it is time to hunt the dragons. I actually do not have a slightest idea if they can be damaged with the bow or crossbow for that matter. So no time like the present to find out. First one is as per usual the swamp dragon. Get Rod and Cipher to help us through the swamp, although at this point I do not need much of their help. Mostly they are getting in front of my shots. Get Eye of Enos and talk to the dragon Pandrodor. Only after that he can be damaged, and well, 192 damage, so exactly the amount of my dexterity minus the amulet as I didn't have time to wear it. If he was not regenerating, he would be dead in 5 shots. I have no words really, this fight was over before it started. Get his heart to recharge the eye and on to the next one. Recharge the eye, move to the old fortress, about the same direction where Gestat was, that was telling me about the Minecrawler's armor before. Since Gorn is here, I employed him for some additional company, but he is only helping with the Lizardmen before the actual location. Once he left, I also cleared another side of the road for the additional XP. Entire fortress, like every dragon dwelling, is crawling with enemies and treasures. Here specifically we have 2 types of enemies that are more annoying than dangerous: harpies and stone golems. Although the latter can be annoying if they caught you in a knockback loop or, God forbid, punch you over the cliff. There's even one demon here, and guess what? Even demonic creations of magic and gloom are no match for the dragon bow. Get to the top of the dwelling, heal, wear the amulet and talk to the dragon Pedrakan. Well, I even managed to wear the agility amulet this time, but the dragon was not interested in fighting me really. Once again his regeneration was desperately trying to rescue him, but that was in vain. In his treasure trove he had one last dexterity tablet that I was missing, and second to last goblin berry, 196 dexterity. Only elixirs are missing now. Before going to the next dragon, I went nearby to clear some monsters. Also visit one of the mining sites that is now overrun by the orcs, and visit the old friend Urshak to tell him about the death of Hoshpak. He will now move to that place, now clear some more and back to the entrance to the dragon dwelling. Continue following the path towards the fiery mountain, clearing packs of lizardmen. There are even some fire golems here, which are too susceptible to arrows? Seriously, how? How the hell trolls are so resilient to those, but golems made out of literal stone and lava are not? Theomatar continues the trend of dragons dying a bit too fast. He managed to hit me twice during the fight, and then I stood far enough for him to take the beating of his life. Then robbed him of his treasures, recharged the eye so I can proceed to the last one. Last dragon is where New Camp was back in the day, in the frozen lands now. Before going there I grabbed last goblin berries, so now I have 17, which is the maximum amount you can get. not counting the random drops from paladins. Silvio is here with his sidekick. They want to kill the most powerful dragon, but this biome has the absolute worst enemies. Ice wolves that are basically wargs, but they give half of the experience, and ice golems. The latter are the absolute bane of the existence. They cast Ice Block, which stunlocks you, so they can have a way with you, the hero. So it is important to dodge the spell in order to even have a chance. I cleared a lot, and I mean a lot of monsters, although not everything, as ice golems are very annoying to deal with. I will probably do the cleanup in the next act, just to max my level efficiency. So finally, I am standing before Finkrek. He is the most powerful of the bunch, but not by much. He's still taking the shots and is not really interested in fighting me. So couple of arrows to the face and he's dead. Get his loot, back to the castle, report to Garon for additional XP. I also did check with Urshak to finish his quest, and back to Korinis we go for the second to the last act. I cannot really learn more dexterity, it is way too expensive at this point, but I can still improve my bow accuracy, since it is only at 39, so I bumped it to 59. I still need to learn it up to 70 and then use the tablets that I have for the remaining 30. At this point this is maximum bonus I can get. Objective of this chapter is to get information about the whereabouts of the Master of the Dragons, and gather the crew, get the ship and the best equipment to beat him to his death. Okay, let's do the necessary stuff first, so I can clean up the map later and do every possible side quest. So first to Monastery to get the Halls of Irdorat book. I went down to the cellar, opened the secret passage, cleared the skeletons and forgot that I need a key to open the door. Teleport to Zarda's tower, talk with Lester to get what I need. Clean up the tower from demons that the Necromancer left. This is also for the quest, and back to Monastery to kill some more skeletons and demons. Read the almanac, take the sea chart and the book, talk with Milton to start the crew quest, and to Honor's farm we go to get the best armor and start employing Lee and Gorn for another adventure. Now I just need to get the rest of my crew going. It really doesn't matter who will you take, but for the old time sakes, I am getting Diego, Vatras, Lares, Bennett as my smith, Jürgen as my captain, Mario just to kill him later, and Lee told me that I can get the ship pass from the judge if my blackmailing skill is good enough. So main quest is wrapped up and I could swim to chapter 6. However, I ended up clearing every map before that. Starting with Yarkandar, I learned how to brew Elixir of Dexterity, cleared the entire map and leveled to 44 here. Next, I moved to Korinis to get one more King Sorel to match my 17 Goblin Berries, and started brewing 17 elixirs, which upon consumption I got up to 252 Dexterity in total. I managed to clear Korinis mostly in the last act, so did not have much to do here. So I moved to Valley of Mines and managed to hit 3 more levels, ending up with level 47. Clearing orcs now is pure joy, as every single one takes 2 shots, even the elite ones. With my learning points I visited Wolf to get archery mastery to 70 and then read every tablet related to finally get the stat to 100, giving me the full mastery over my bow, and with that I cannot level dexterity or bow mastery anymore, so it is time to move on from the island to finish the game. Final act is by far the shortest one. There is more or less just one objective here. Find the general of the Army of Darkness and send him back to Beliar where he belongs. At this point I am overpowered as all hell, and it shows. I can 2-shot every orc, even elite ones. 1-shot works from the distance, that they can not even touch me with the pinpoint accuracy. This is disgusting. There is a cave troll here. I don't have a shrink monster scroll, so I cannot really kill him, So I did rescue Pedro and he was killed while trying to valiantly fight this menace. Sorry man, no hard feelings. Levels are not doing much for me anyway at this point. Aside from health points, there is only one more thing to do to boost my dexterity. That is why I'm getting those dragon eggs, and I did not turn them to Bennett while I was on Korinis. Also another dragon, but he is just as pathetic as his brothers. Although he has the ability to throw me into textures, but quick reload, a bit of repositioning and that fight is over very quickly. Dispersed some skeletons and finally arrived at the lab where Embarla Firgasto formula is. Normally you can brew this once, but if you are a mercenary you have enough dragon eggs to do 2 of those, and upon consumption it will give you 15 strength or dexterity depending on the highest attribute. So now I have 282 dexterity in total, and this is a final number. Right across the room is the chamber with the Shadow Lord Arkle, and well, I did not think it would be any issue with him, as I was able to already kill fallen paladins, but this guy seems to be made out of pure titanium and my stats do not impress him, 5 damage per hit. Great. I ran around until I found a place where I could safely shoot him and put him out of his misery. Oh hey, it's Mario, and he's dead. Next is the worst room probably in the game. A lot of running, killing, pulling switches in right order, pushing buttons in right order just to get 4 of the pillars active and open the big door. Home stretch boys, killing seekers, more seekers, lots of seekers. Talk to Black Magician and listen to him while he spouts about how he will kill me with extreme brutality, only for him to die after 3 arrows and 0 reaction. Take whatever he had and the Eye of Power from the chest to open the door to final boss. Final boss is of course Undead Dragon. He has twice the health of the other dragons, but as with the others, he is susceptible to my arrows. So even though he is taking a little bit longer to kill, this fight wasn't a real one from the start. So now I have triumphed over the game using only bow as my damage source. I managed to hit level 50 with that last kill. I did most of the stuff but did not kill NPCs for additional experience, purely because I did not benefit from it anymore while I was going to Irdorat. Also, I am suspecting that the Ring of Dexterity bugged twice, giving me additional 10 dexterity, although I might be wrong at that. For a starter build for someone that did not play this game at all, it might be the best in the game, while occasionally using spells to deal with some other threats, but other than that, I had a blast playing this one, and let me know if you would like to see more Gothic 1 and 2 runs. Thank you very much for watching, stay tuned for more games and gaming videos, like it if you liked it and subscribe for more content. Challenger departs.